Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Fearless Generations with Terry Sayer and Kelly Fox.
Hello and welcome to Fearless Generations, 12 Steps to Freedom. This is Kelly Fox, and we are starting a whole new step tonight, Step 8, Possibilities. And tonight is our introduction night, which means anything goes. We can talk about anything we want when it comes to possibilities. And so, the possibilities are endless, right? We're excited to get on this topic. I love this month. Good things always happen in the month of possibilities, probably because we're focused on it and we see them and take advantage of them. So we are going to have a fun month in front of us. So let's get going. I will introduce my beautiful co-host, Terry Sayer. How are you doing tonight, Terry?
Well, I'm doing amazing. Thank you so much. It's beautiful, cool weather again. I love it.
Yep. Yep. It's been getting a little hot for me, and today and yesterday it cooled down, and it was very nice.
Yeah. Yeah, we've been having 90-degree weather, which is not normal this early in the spring. So today it was much cooler. It was nice.
Yeah. Well, let's get going, and I'll introduce our guest coach for tonight. It's her first night on the podcast, and she's joining us at 12 a.m. her time. So we're very appreciative of her being on here tonight with us. Please welcome Melissa Clampitt. I don't know why that didn't come out right. Clampitt. Melissa Clampitt.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, that's so funny. I know. I just was saying it. I was so worried. Like, I went to bed early at like 8:30, and I took like a power nap. But the whole time I was like waking up every hour to make sure I didn't miss my alarm because it's like the first day of school. I was so worried. I was like not going to get up in time. So I'm so happy to be here.
Well,
we're excited to have you. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Melissa, why don't you please introduce yourself to the audience. Tell us, what is it you get to do and who is it you get to serve?
Oh, I love this. Thank you so much. Along my journey, I would say I've always known that I have wanted to help people. And what that looked like when I was younger, I was a school teacher. And then that morphed into being a managing director of our local Powerhouse chapter. And what I really love to do now is really focus on moms. Like, moms are in my heart. I have a 13-year-old, I have a 16-year-old, and I have a 30-year-old stepson. And just along the journey, I just really realized, like, how much help moms need. Like, we need support, we need help, we need community. We're really overwhelmed and stressed. And whether you are a high achiever and, an entrepreneur, or you're working for somebody else, there's so many things that come along with motherhood, and a lot of the time you tend to lose yourself. We tend to lose ourselves in our motherhood, and I really love to help coach and guide moms to reawaken those passions that maybe they put aside, maybe for their kids. Maybe they ended up saying, maybe they ended up putting that dream that they wanted to do when they were a little girl on hold for a while. And I really want to help moms come back to themselves and help moms rediscover those things that maybe they haven't been able to do or take a hold of and go after for a while. And, I just love it. I love working with moms. I love helping them come back to themselves and just reawaken all those things that are inside of them so that they can really live their lives and live that joyful life.
Yeah, I love that. I love working with moms as well. As a mom, I totally relate with your ideal client. And we definitely need support because it can be a challenge to take on such responsibility. And I think that's probably the thing that I overwhelm myself with the most is the responsibility of raising, these amazing kids well, I mean, they're amazing anyways, but raising my kids and giving them what I feel like I want to give them, and still, feeling good at the end of the day. And like I did my part. So I love that you focus on moms and supporting moms and helping them to take care of themselves and go after those things that they want, and be themselves as well as be a mom.
Yeah, it is. Thank you so much. Yeah, it started with my own journey just in motherhood and, being a full-time school teacher and then working from home and, putting my all into my kids and having all these thoughts in my head of what a good mom should be and do. And, along the way, I lost myself in my journey and things that I was like, I don't even know what I like to do anymore. I don't know what brings me joy. I don't know what makes me happy. And, I don't want to wait till moms are an empty nester to then rediscover who they really are. I want to catch moms early. Get them while they're young.
Yeah, I love it. All right, well, let's get into the topic tonight. So, Melissa, what does possibilities mean to you? What does that bring to your mind when you think possibility?
Yeah, I love this topic. I actually had written a chapter in a book earlier this year, and my chapter was called Bet on Yourself. And so when I think of possibilities, I think the world is endless. I think of betting on yourself. I think that there's infinite possibilities if you're ready and willing and open to actually see those possibilities. So betting on yourself is really listening to that intuition inside of yourself. When things come up and not knowing, you've never seen anyone do something before and you're wanting to go after it and do it, you're willing to take that chance on yourself. And the possibilities are endless, not doing what everyone else is doing. I used to be a school teacher, and then I stayed at home with my kids for 7.5 years, and I had never seen anyone do that. But I put that idea out into the universe. Gosh, I want to be at home with my children or with my child at the time. And all of a sudden, the universe started sending possibilities my way. Someone told me, oh my gosh, my daughter works from home. She does network marketing. She does a direct sales company. I had never heard of that before. This is back in 2004. And so the possibility of me being able to be at home with my kids, was an idea I never had before, started coming my way. And that's how my journey, kind of in that believing in myself and listening to that intuition in the universe and those possibilities, kind of started coming my way. So I think for me, possibilities is that betting on yourself. It's opening up to the world, to the universe, to God, whatever you believe in, that you will always find a way if there's something that you're thinking about, something that you want to do, if you're open. That's always like the big message for me with possibilities. Like, you have to be open, because the signs I feel like are all around us, right? It's just when you actually are there to notice those signs, that's when that thing really open up for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. And so how do you support your clients or yourself with having that possibilities mindset?
Yeah, it's really like digging into really who you are at the core, which I think that's really that, knowing yourself. Because so many times I think, especially moms, we get stuck in that rat race, right? Like, this is what I have to do. Like, and I go to college and then I get that career and then I have that job and then I work that job and then I don't have time to change anything because I'm just in this rat race, in this rat reel, like, all the time. And so it's really like, it's taking that pause. It's taking the pause. It's saying, okay, wait a second. What do I really want for myself? What is this filling me, what I'm doing right now? Is this what lights me up? Or is there a shift that I need to be making in my life right now? Getting quiet and listening to those things and saying, is this something that I want for myself? Or is this something that I was just doing because it felt right at the time, or somebody told me that I had to do it, or it just seemed right, it's still not lighting me up, it's still not in alignment with what I want to be doing. So we really dive into what do you really want? Like, who are you at the end of the day? Like, when you get quiet, what kinds of things make you happy? What kinds of things bring you joy? What kinds of things bring you fulfillment in your everyday life, so that then you can have possibilities? And really those possibilities is that positive mentality, right? It's that anything is possible.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I look at it. So, there's a positive mentality, that positive mindset, but it's really looking at, like, really the world is your oyster. So anything can be possible if you want it to be possible, but it's being open to those things and knowing, wait a second, if I want something, I feel like there's always a way. Do you feel like that? Like, there's always a way to make it happen. You just have to kind of think outside the box sometimes.
Yeah, be a problem solver. That's what when my kids ask me a question, I'm like, have you even thought of a way of how to solve that before you came and asked me? Be a problem solver.
Yes, I'm the ultimate problem solver. I totally agree with you, too. I have to sometimes stop myself when my husband comes to me because I'm like, do you want to try and solve this problem, or do you just want me to listen?
Yeah.
Because I'm always trying to solve a problem.
Absolutely. I think that's a mode that moms get in, right? Because the kids are always coming saying this is going on, and it's your job to figure out how to fix it, or how to create it, or how to make it happen. And sometimes it can be a challenge to turn it off, for sure.
Yeah.
So, Terry, I know you can relate to the being a teacher part of her story. So what's going on with you right now as you're listening to Melissa share?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things that I can resonate with, that I've experienced in my life. Being a mom of 5 and then now a grandmother of 21 and a great-grandmother of 5, it never ends, so you're always in that overwhelm of being a mom. I had a friend that was about 10 years older than me, and she told me one day when I was kind of thinking, when my kids get older, it's going to be so much easier. And she told me, she said, Terry, this is a lifetime commitment. It doesn't get easier. So I can tell you that's the truth. It doesn't. It seems like the decisions your kids make and the ramifications of those decisions just magnify as they get older. So it's like, it's a never-ending relationship and blessing that we have kids in our lives, because we never stop being a mom. And so I can relate to that. But I was thinking while you were talking, because so many things that you brought up were things that we talk about as we go through this step in our journey to freedom, is believing in yourself. That's certainly a huge component of having the willingness to take the possibility, to see the possibility, and then to act upon the possibility, is believing that you can. And I think one of those things that really resonates with me when I think about possibilities is curiosity. I am a very curious person, and I'm kind of one of those people that just sees a lot of wonderment in the world. And I think because of that curiosity, that has led me to accept and find many possibilities in my life. And just wondering, could I do that? Would that be something I would like to do? I think that looks interesting. And just having that willingness to be curious about the opportunities that come my way. I've lived a really wonderful, rich life, and I think a lot of it has to do with believing in myself that I can do something that I want to do, and that I'm always looking for something new. I was just at where was I just now? I was somewhere at an activity tonight. I don't remember which one now. And I know it was. I was down at the homeless encampment. I found some food for my homeless neighbors, and I was talking to one of the people that was there, and I told them how old I was, and they said, "No way, you can't be that old." And I said, "Well, that's how many years I've been alive, but my brain is still young and curious and always looking for new things to learn." And I think that's what keeps me open to new things, to possibilities that could happen in my life. I mean, who would have ever thought after 40 years of teaching school that I would end up in local government? I mean, that's the possibility I never thought of in my life, and now I'm the mayor of my city, so go figure. It's just, I would have never, ever done that if I hadn't been curious, if I hadn't felt like I believed that I could make a difference. I would have never even tried to do that, and yet I'm going into my 5th year of serving on our city council, and it's just, you know, those are the kinds of things that if I wasn't willing and I wasn't curious and I didn't want to keep learning, I would not have seen those possibilities. I would have just thought, well, I'm retired. Let's see, what am I going to do? Am I going to sell insurance? No, that doesn't seem too fun to me. Will I sell no, I don't like that either. You know, I just kept wondering and looking and searching until I found that what you were talking about, finding that passion, you know, the thing that speaks to my soul, the thing that gets me up in the morning and keeps me going. And that's because I was curious. And I wanted to know if I could do that, and I believed I could. And I think the faith in yourself and knowing that in my life, knowing that God is there with me and he's the one that's poking me to go and do these things, and I can choose to or to not, and I choose to try new things and to step out of my comfort zone and stretch my influence out in the world and be of service. So it's I think we have possibilities around us all the time if we're open, like you said. That's one of my favorite words. Open-hearted, open-minded, and willing to embrace and be curious about what we can do, because our capacity is infinite, and there's just so many possibilities.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I love
absolutely.
that.
Yeah. So, Melissa, is there a tool that you use with your clients to support them in shifting towards seeing possibilities for themselves?
Yeah, and I shared a little bit like before too. It's really what we really start with is getting quiet. Like I really have them focus on, you know, what do you really want to do? You know, I did this talk, and it's drop the supermom facade. You know, it's knowing that you don't have to do everything all the time, because that's the number one thing that moms go through is, I believe, is thinking that they have to do everything, right? I mean, do you guys relate to that? Like you said a little bit earlier, we have to do it all. It's the rat race. It's that invisible load that we carry as mothers that, you know, a lot of the time people don't understand, because, you know, your mind is racing. Like as soon as I was going to bed tonight, my mind was racing with all these different things that, you know, you had to be doing. So, you know, what I like to do is, you know, I call it like dropping the supermom facade, but it's 5 tips that, you know, as moms, what you can really look at is, you know, one of them is asking for help, because we as women, especially moms, we don't like to ask for help. You think you have to do it all, because if you're not doing it all, then really, you know, you're not doing your job. You know, you're failing. That's how I thought. I thought, oh, my gosh, if I'm asking for help, if I need help with my kids, if I need help with my work, if I need help with anything, then maybe that shows that I don't know what I'm doing. Like I'm failing at what I'm doing. So it's knowing you don't have to do it all. It's asking for help. It's finding those things. You know, I really walk moms through those things that used to bring her joy when she was younger. You know, I had someone that was like, what did I used to love to do? I used to love to paint. Well, why don't you do it anymore? I don't have the time. Yes, you do. You can make the time, because we don't make time for those things that light us up, for those things that put a smile on our face, because when you have that joy, when you have those things that you think are so small. I used to horseback ride. I've been talking about horseback riding so much, and I know you had Stephanie on here a couple weeks ago, but I used to horseback ride when I was a little girl, and I've been thinking about that so much, and I feel like it's something that I need to start doing again. So there's things that we used to do as women, as moms, that we just put aside because we don't have time. We're working, the kids, we're doing all the different things, but we can make the time. And then those things, if we can find those things that light us up, that bring us joy, those are going to impact every single other area of our life. Those are going to impact our work. Those are going to impact our marriage. Those are going to impact our kids, because if we're happy, if we're shining our light out into the world, into our home, I always love to start in the home, being happy and joyful in your home, then that's going to resonate with everything else out in the world, right? It all starts here, and it starts with ourselves, and it's really just coming back to those things that light us up, knowing who we are. So asking for help, finding things that that bring you joy, and, just going out into the world and just finding those things that you really want to be doing. But it's really starting with recognizing that you do not have to do it all. That's like really the number one thing, because we put so many things on our plate where we can outsource them that we don't actually have to be doing, because the world will not fall apart if we aren't doing some of those things. Yeah. It's asking for help, but then also receiving help. That's really one of the big things, because we can ask for help, but then if I ask for help from my husband and then I receive it and then I'm just nagging him about how he actually helped me, then that's not the point. It's actually receiving the help when we actually get it. And then it's, it's looking for those things that bring you joy that you had when you were a little girl, or when even before maybe you had kids, or before you were married, that you haven't been doing, because a lot of the time those things, when you find those things that bring you joy, that's going to lead you into more of those things that you want to be doing, more happiness, more passion, more purpose in your life. So those are just a couple of things that I would say, that's kind of how we start to really get back to ourselves, to really find those passions that are living inside of us, those little couple things.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's one thing that the pandemic did for us, is it gave us that time to pause and to think, and to really consider what is it that we love. And it became clear for me, because I couldn't do those things that I loved anymore, because I couldn't go outside, or they weren't available because they were closed, or whatever. And I think, and my family was like forced to spend so much time together.
Right. And
so, for Terry, she had to deal with being home alone for all of that time, but we had to be okay with all 8 of us here all the time. And so, what were we going to do with ourselves and keep, everybody still liking each other? And so I think that, taking that time to pause and reflect is so important, to really get connected, as we have tool number 3 is get connected to ourselves, and really get clear on what is it that we love, what is it that fuels us, that lights us up, that gets us excited, and then find little ways that we can bring those things into our lives. We had a client once at a workshop that was similar to the client that you spoke of, that said that she wasn't allowing herself to paint, and she really loved to paint. And now I see her post paintings of hers on Facebook all the time still, and that was several years ago. And so she's still continuing to make that time and to share that talent with not only her children, but with those around her. So I think that that's really important.
Yeah.
Melissa, we want to give.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say another thing that goes along with being open-minded and open-hearted is to keep yourself, in the present. Because I think possibilities don't occur in the past and they don't occur in the future. They occur in the present. And it's really another thing as a mom, I'm a recovering perfectionist, so I struggled with that most of the time that my kids were young, was the perfectionist syndrome. And that's an addiction that I still struggle with, but I'm recovering. And it's to be in the present and be in the moment, and that's when the possibility comes. And if you take it, you're curious enough to take action on that possibility, then that's going to, increase your confidence. It's going to increase your desires. It's going to increase your faith to take those opportunities. And so I think it's really important that we always remember that those things happen in the moment, not in the past and not in the future.
I love that.
Love that. Yeah. So, Melissa, we want to give you a chance to share with our audience how they can get a hold of you if what you've said tonight has resonated with them and they want to follow you or participate in something that you have going on.
Oh, thank you so much. And yes, there's a couple things. So I would say go to my website. So if you go to melissaclampitt.com, Clampitt is CLAMPITT.com. Really from there, you can find everything. It's like my hub, I like to call it. But I have a podcast myself. It's called The Reawakened Mom. And I love to have women on there sharing their stories because we are not alone as moms. And that was really my ultimate mission with that podcast. And so I do solo episodes, but then I also bring other women on there. So you can find that anywhere you listen to podcasts. And then if you go to my website, the other tips, there's 5 tips that are part of that Supermom facade, but you can find a free download on my website with the other tips on there. And you can always contact me from there as well if you need any more help, if you need support, anything like that. I'm more than willing to help out. I feel like when moms are shining their light out into the world, the possibilities are endless for us, for our kids, for the next generation. And that's why I really want to support moms with my whole heart.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And please post your website, link to your website in the Facebook group so that our listeners can have easy one-click access to that.
Okay, awesome. I will do that.
Yeah. Well, we are excited to have had you on the show tonight. I feel like we had a great discussion, and our mom listeners were extra supported tonight, I believe. I definitely was. If there was one thing that you would want the listeners to come away with tonight, what would that be?
Oh, that's a good one. I would say if you're listening tonight, I would say to really trust yourself. I think so often, and especially now with social media and all the noise that's out there in the world, we're looking for everyone else for all the answers, right? But when we get quiet, kind of like we talked about, when we get present, like Terry was saying, when we really get quiet and listen to ourselves and give ourselves a chance to kind of talk to us, if that makes sense, we know the answers. We know what we need to do, what's best for us, what's best for our family. So trust yourself if you're listening tonight, because whatever you're going through, you have the answer within. And I hope that supports you in some way, when you're listening to this tonight or in the future.
No, I love that. Thank you so much. Yeah, trust is such a big thing for me. And so I wholeheartedly agree with that. Thank you. We want to remind you, listeners, that the 12 Steps to Freedom were created by Rhonda Britton, the CEO and founder of the Fearless Living Institute. And if you would like to know more about Fearless Living, go check it out at fearlessliving.org. As well as if you want to know more about Fearless Generations, you can find us at fearlessgenerations.org, and you can find out everything there from our free workshops to our more advanced workshops, our group classes and programs. We love to provide everything that we can for you to become more fearless, and you can find it all there, as well as on our social media, which you can find us anywhere under Fearless Generations. So thank you so much, Melissa, for being here tonight. Thank you, Terry. Love being able to be here with you each week and share the information of Fearless Living.
Thank you.
Ditto. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Be fearless, everybody.